Reprieve family? Is your boy LAPA coming through with another video. You guys already know what it is. Appreciate you guys tapping in, taking time out of your day to check out little old me and my channel, right? And as you can tell by the good caption, that unya, that thumbnail, you know, we're gonna tell a story, prison story on Colonia, Southside Chiquez, my bad, Southside Chiquez member, especially for the youngsters to know that, you know, this is not the type of lifestyle story, another story of caution, and even to remind the reoffenders, the dudes that have been in and out, whatnot, that after a while, it's okay, bro. Stay away from all that madness, bro. Whether you had to make the decision to go to the side or not doesn't make you any less, or you paroled active and you just stayed with your family and all that. Hey, you won. You didn't lose. You won. Either side, you won. So here we go, man. I'm gonna take you to Kern Valley State Prison. And another note too, guys, for those of you that have been waiting for the stories that I've told, I said that I'm gonna elaborate or add more to different stories, like a part one, part two, part three. It's coming. Don't worry. I just like mixing it up. Depending on the mood that I'm in, it's still gonna be a good story regardless. And I just feel like depending on what type of acquaintances or things that I've ran into at a certain day, I just feel like that reminds me, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna put that on pause for a day or two, and I'm gonna tell this story again instead. So here we go. Dude from Southside Chiquez, man. He unfortunately, man, at Kern Valley, just to you know what? This is another thing. I was gonna do a whole different video on this, but I might as well just compress it here, because we ain't trying to get rich. We're just trying to save some youngsters, hopefully. Before the hunger strikes and all that, before the Mexican Mafia members, the Nuestra Familia, Aryan Brotherhood, BGFs, I don't think there's too many of them left. No disrespect to them. NLRs, I mean, not much of them to speak of. No disrespect, like I said again, but yeah, before they got all kicked out, hunger strikes, all the hunger strikes that I participated in as well, starved myself, passed out several times, all that. I don't wish that shit on nobody. I'd rather cell extract, I'd rather get stabbed, I'd rather freaking stab anything than to go through another hunger strike. Straight up. So there was nothing but stabbings. Before that, there was nothing but stabbings on the yard. The only question was whether they were going to put one. There was always going to be one fierro. The only question was whether they're going to put two fierros on you, especially New Corcoran, Kern Valley as well. All the 180s, High Desert, Pelican Bay, Salinas Valley, Tehachapi, the main line, whatnot. And after the hunger strikes, the senores that were warehoused, they got kicked out to the main line. And they were very apprehensive and very cautious and very studious and pretty much walking on eggshells. That, as well as them having a whole new game plan, as pretty much as to say, never again. We're never going to get slammed down and warehoused again. So we're going to minimize the violence. We're going to do things different this time. And one of the things that they implemented, at the very least, from what I heard, other prisons too, but especially at Kern Valley, they took away the fierros. They took away the stabbings. And instead of putting two dudes on one with fierros or one fierro, they took away the knives and they put three dudes on one. So any removal, you see three dudes on one cat moving forward. And that was something new to me after getting kicked out of the shoe the last time. Not kicked out, but murder was up. I mean, I got out of the shoe. So I got there, and every single removal that I seen was three dudes on one. And it was vicious, because, they were trying to get big dudes, the biggest dudes that you could get, especially depending on the size of the victim and whatnot. So that's just a little footnote on why they stopped doing stabbings after when they got out, especially into 15, 2016, 2017. But eventually, this is a story that I'm going to tell and why, as an extension, you're seeing a lot of prison murders right now. And I'm going to do another extension video on this, um, because this is literally the reason, this story of caution on both sides that I'm going to tell. So this dude from Southside Chiquez is just one example. When I got out to the yard, man, I was surprised at how much dudes were they were allowing them to get away with. Dudes were running the muck on the yard, running up tabs, owing thousands, hundreds, and thousands of dollars, and the senores were giving them 1,000 chances, which to me is just like, I'm not knocking it, because a drug addict is a drug addict, and I was always used to seeing before that in the mesa system when the senores were on the yard. I mean, you get to a certain point, you get red flag or not, especially if you owe hot money, you can step up the yard. I got a couple of the stories coming as far as though I got the old before pre-hunger strike stories, years of that, and post-hunger strike stories. I my term was split in half, damn near, of the wars and the viciousness, and post-hunger strike when the senores were in the yard and everything. So I got stories from both eras. So yeah, man, this is one of these individuals that took advantage of the señor's kindness. The homie from Rancho, the señor from Rancho at this time, was in the lower yard. This is after Sleepy had left. The señor from Wilmas had left. Um, right around the time, uh, yeah, right around the time when they made that dude Husky, they made him a señor on the yard. And you know, the dude from Watts was on the upper yard. Popeye was still on the upper yard from Harpies. Rest in peace. And there's a few dudes over there, just to say the least. So yeah, man, this dude was strung out. Big dude. Um, Homeboy from Chiquez, Southside Chiquez, was about like 6'1", 6'2", and it's crazy, man. He used to be a red flag. He was in my block at the time when this happened. He had been removed a few times already. He owed money, and his whole thing was, even though he owed money, and they removed him the first time, right? Or before they removed him the first time, they put 3 dudes on him. Big boy. That told me, that's it. You're red flag. You're on the wall doing burpees, all that. No more. No more. Ya estuvo. Ya estufas en la cocina, right? So, kept doing it. They removed him the first time. Brought him back to the yard. Kept doing the same shit he was doing. Picking up papers, burning people, doing what he was doing. They removed him again. He was in the upper yard when this one happened, the last one. So he landed in one block with me at the time. He's doing burpees right there during the day room. So I went over there. Different camaradas will come and do burpees with them and whatnot. And so I was one of the ones that was doing burpees with them. Went over there, and standing in solidarity, right? Things like that. And there was a point where I was doing burpees because I fucked up too. But regardless, just because you were doing burpees doesn't mean that homies weren't going over there and doing burpees in solidarity, and they weren't in trouble. They were just like, damn. And he had to do burpees damn near the whole day room. No, not that damn near, the whole day room as a discipline until he paid off his debts. So, I'm sitting there talking to him. He's like, hey, bro, that's it, man. Check this out. This is it. I'm done, bro. After this, I'm staying clean, this and that. But then I would see him get high. Any chance he got, anybody that had carga for him or anything like that. It's a very hard addiction. Heroin is a very hard addiction. So you could think one day literally while you're high and say, you know, I'm gonna stop tomorrow. That's it. Then tomorrow comes, you start a withdrawal, and there's no way you're gonna stop because the sickness of that, I wish on nobody. You know, no excuses. You know, he made his own bed. So yeah, he's in the day room, like I said, and everything. We're on the yard, whatnot, and then we're chilling, whatever. I don't even remember honestly where I went. Um, I think I went into the block with the workers. They opened up the door with the workers. There's no inlines there or nothing, but I snuck in with the workers, whatnot. They removed him. They removed him, and he comes back. And matter of fact, no, I digress. My apologies. He was still on my block. And it's been a long time, guys. And you know, I'm never gonna bullshit. If I remember something halfway during the story, I'm gonna because I don't manufacture my stories. I go off my memory. So yeah, he was in the block with me and everything, and he comes to me one day and he tells me, "Hey, man, I got papers for sale." I was like, "You got papers for sale?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, cool. I mean, I'll let anybody know they got fed or whatever, because you know, like the dude's in debt." And I'm like, "What's up, man? How the fuck? How'd you come up?" He's like, the senor, man, he blessed me, Brand. I came up to him. I'm like, "Hey, look, man, I need some help. I'm flagged, red flag, whatnot. I need some help. Can you help me out? You know, I'll pay you back, whatnot." The homie Tony from Rancho. I'll say his name. From what I understand, the old man's still active, whatnot. Much respect to the cat. I knew him on the yard and everything. Um, he was one of the few senores that I felt maybe. I'm not saying maybe, but maybe he was because he's in the twilight of his years. He's an older man now. Very lenient, very cool, very laid back. Been through a lot, you know. And he told me, "Ah, here's a gramo. Boom. You don't have to pay me back. Go ahead, but pay your debts off." And you let them know. I didn't know this at the time. When he told me, homeboy told me that he had papers for sale, I didn't know this at the time. The story came out afterwards. And the senor told him, like, "Hey, go ahead and let these dudes know that you owe. Cut these papers up and pay them 50 for 50. And when I mean 50 for 50 is, for example, if you go on the yard and you buy a $50 paper, which is a $50 little fucking smear of heroin, and you can't pay back this $50, dudes could accept dope back, heroin back in payment if you can't pay, but it's doubled up. So if you buy one paper, they want 250 papers. You buy 3 papers, they want 6 papers to pay them back, etc., etc. It's doubled up. But that was the rule. So if I came up to you and said, "Hey, I know that I owe you $50, whatever. Here's a 50 paper, bro. Just take it." They don't have to take it, and you still be in trouble, type shit. So the señor knew that, of course, and he told them, "Hey, let them know that this is my dope type shit. I gave you this, and basically use my name, give them back. They have to accept paper for paper. You know, that's the power of a señor. That's the power of a made member, Mexican Mafia member." And what did this dude do? What did this dude do? He takes the paper. He tried to sell one. I don't know if he was trying to sell it so he could pay back money and then still have money and make whatever he was trying to do. He was trying to still get high. He ended up necking the paper. He ended up taking it to the neck, meaning he did it all in his veins. He used it all up. He didn't use it for the purpose that it was intended for. So this is where I got my mixed up earlier. We ended up going to the yard, and I seen it, and I wasn't on the yard at the time. I think that's when I went in. They removed him. Because of that. I wasn't on the yard. I came back. He came back. He was in my block. He got removed. I wasn't on the yard. I was probably in the law library somewhere. He got kicked out because he kept signing the marriage chronos, meaning he was coming back to the yard. The dude had balls. He got removed like 3 or 4 times. Comes out to the yard again, and then I run into him. I was walking the track. I run into him. I'm like, damn, T, what's up, dog? What's going on? He had a black eye and shit. And remember, guys, this dude's tall as shit. So it's very hard for the camaradas to get up there and you know, take this dude down and whatnot. And things like that. So, I mean, the señores ain't instructing anybody to use fierros. You know, once you bring fierros into the equation, it's a different story. And at the time, they weren't using fierros at the time. I'm telling you. And that's why I feel like dudes were taking advantage. Everybody knew that nobody was getting stabbed. It was 3 dudes on one. That was it. No weapons. It was fresh. This was still fresh when these dudes getting kicked out and they weren't trying to get snatched up again. They weren't trying to get warehoused and validated. I mean, they were still validated when they got kicked out. But like, you know, getting indeterminate sentences in the shoe. So I ran into him, black eye, everything. He's like, what's up? I was like, man, damn, bro, what's going on? He's like, damn, dog. And that's when he told me the whole thing. When, like I said, it came out. He told me the whole thing. I was just like, damn, what I just finished explaining to you guys. I was like, damn, bro, you fucked up. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to talk to him as soon as I can. Tell him dispensa. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, bro, I don't know about that. And literally on that same yard, when I talked to him, that same yard, we go our ways because he wasn't my boy or nothing like that on the yard or anything like that. But I used to talk to him and everything, you know, fair enough amount of times. And I was with my boy from I was with one of my boys. We were chilling, and then out of nowhere, man, I look over there and I see him over there doing burpees because he was on the burpee line. He was on the burpee line, going up, going down, going up, going down. And I looked over there, that's what was going up, and it went down. Boom. I seen this dude walk right up to him while he was down doing a push-up. He's doing that push-up that goes with the burpee, and that dude just kicked him in his head like a soccer ball. Boom. And the dude that kicked him must have been about 5'8", 270, 80 pounds. The dude was a little chubby dude. And he kicked his head hard, bro. Hence, he knocked him out. He knocked him out cold. And 2 of the dudes came by. All these dudes could do is hit him in his body while he was laid out. He was laid out the whole time. He didn't swing one time. He wasn't able to. And the dude that kicked him was stomping on his head for at least count to 60 seconds. Count to 60. Start right now. 1, 2, 3. And the whole time somebody's kicking this dude, stomping that dude's head to the cement. That was some head is in the cement, stomping his head. While other dudes are hitting his ribs, there was one dude hitting his legs. They couldn't do nothing else. The dude was out. He was out. It's a big boy. And I was sitting there looking at it. And by the time the cops, maybe 30 seconds into it, get down, get down, get down. Everybody, they put the yard down. We're prone down. And I'm looking over there. And I'm just watching this dude just stomp his head, stomp his head, stomp his head, stomp his head. And the only thing I could think of is that they wanted this dude dead. He burned the Mexican Mafia, senor. He burned him. And he was wrong for that. 100% he was wrong for that. He was in the throes of his addiction. The act itself was not right. But the act that dude, the aggressor, committed on him, enacted on him, perpetrated on him, was a cowardly act. I don't know if he was instructed to do that or not. I don't know, but that's some cowardly shit. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. That is some coward shit. That is a big dude. And yeah, because of all the times, I mean, essays are short. This is a big essay, So maybe that was the only method, but it's still cowardly as shit. If it got to that point, blast him. But don't knock him out and not give the man a chance to defend himself. Because that's just a thing that we were always, and it's hypocritical. That's why I say, youngsters, there's no real loyalty or ain't no real true cause in that cause. They preach to us, you're allowed to fight back. When you get removed and all that, you're allowed to fight back. You can't stab back when it's a removal discipline, but you're allowed to fight back. He wasn't allowed to fight back. He got dope fiend. What kind of shit is that? He got dope fiend, bro. Sick. And that dude that kicked him, instead of feeling proud of that shit, you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, unfortunately, I forgot the names over time, because even if I would remember that dude's name, I would say it. And I don't say many names. That was some cowardly ass shit, bro. So, and it was because he burned the señor from Rancho. Now, this is what I heard. They snatched him or whatever. He got snatched up, airlifted, everything. I heard he ended up dying because the amount of trauma that he received from that dude on his head, on his skull, they operated on his thing. His brain was swelled up, and they weren't able to open up his skull, like take a part of his cranium off for them to relieve the pressure. That's what I heard. And Thumper from Southside Chiquez. And to me, it's just like, damn. You got a dude that, yeah, he has his faults and everything, but he kept coming back, kept staying solid, albeit, they probably looked at him as trash because he's just doping and whatnot, but he kept coming back, and as the last note for this video, after maybe about, I want to say a year later, nothing related to this, when I was caught up in my whole situation and everything, and I went to the side, it wasn't until I went to the side, actually after I paroled, that's when you started seeing all these murders, even on the main line. And that's why on D yard with the 2.5ers and all that shit, them dudes could always use weapons. They don't give a fuck. But A yard, B yard, whatnot, A yard mainly, they started using weapons again. They stopped giving a fuck. And I'm not surprised because a lot of dudes were out of control. A lot of dudes, there was so many dudes on the yard that were red flag old money, including dudes that were slanging, including dudes that weren't red flagged, including dudes that weren't on the wall because there was favoritism, because other dudes were pressing the issue on them, snitching on them for owning a paper. They weren't going to snitch on them and things like that. There was thousands upon thousands of deaths on that yard. And if you weren't a fucking brown nose and an ass kisser, you were going to be on the wall by yourself. Not by yourself, but if you were stood on your own, you're going to be on the wall, red flag and whatnot, tending to your own shit and taking your own lickings like Homeboy was doing, And once I left, once I paroled, that's why the senores finally got tired of it. And I think that dude Joker from Watts, I got a video coming up on him. From what I understand, that dude's in the hat, and I've been told that by a few people, reliable sources, and I was waiting for that to do a video on it because, like I said, man, I really only speak on dudes that are no longer active type shit, and yeah, it was one of the main reasons. I already know, and that's why I believe that dude is in big trouble. But anywho, hope you guys enjoyed the story. You're going to hear things on this channel as well from source of caution, things like that, like you hear on other channels. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Youngsters, like I said, offenders, hey, remember this. Remember this. It's crazy. Homie lost his life from what I understand. You know, yeah, it was his fault, but and I just don't agree in the way as well and how he lost his life. Wasn't even given a chance to fight back. With that being said, I'm out.